All right, thanks for tuning into this online lesson. I'm going to try and keep it as quick as possible. We just need to finish up this 4-channel mixer. And we have the interface now pretty much done. So this is the first page that has the mixing for the channels. The second page will have any effect shaders and whether you want to have those bypassed or not. And their parameters for that effect. And then the third page will have slider multipliers in case you want to change. Right now these sliders go from -1 to +1, but you could apply a multiplier if you needed the parameter to go from, say, -100 to +100 simply by multiplying it by 100 over here on the slider multiplier. This is also where we put some comments that you don't see that will say what the parameters are called here. I wanted to put them on this middle screen, middle pane, but there was really no way to fit them on there. All right, so that interface is working pretty well. You can see the outputs from it coming out of the UDP receive over here. So if I move this effect 1 slider, for example, you can say that's called CHA FX 1-1 and then the value, right? This would be CHA underscore FX 1-5 and a value, right? That's how that's working. This would be if I choose a shader like kaleidoscope, you can see it's called CHA underscore FX1 file. FX1 for first effect, FX2 for the second effect, right? So we have that control mechanism, but we don't have the actual functionality inside of the movie player patches down here, right? We need to add the slab to hold those shaders, and so that's what we're going to do. And we also need to add the routing for all of these different sliders that we've now added to the interface. So open up your movie player GL file. I'm just going to pull it out of my recent files. Let's see, movie player GL. Movie player GL. And right off the bat, I'm just going to save this as. Save as. And let's just call this movie effects player GL. Save that. That way we can still keep our other patch running in the background and it won't break because it's not calling this patch because we're still calling movie player GL. Alright, get out of my way. Alright, so the first thing we need to do on this is we need to add the slabs, JIT-GL slab. So the slabs are going to go, slabs are what hold the shaders and what do the video effects. They also turn any of our matrix-based video into a texture. So it's going to go in between this JIT.movie player here and the JIT-GL video plane. There'll be a slab in between that. And in fact, there'll be 2 slabs in between that. So we're going to go to this slab, but before we do, we're going to have it go through a gate so that we can bypass this slab. So let's have a gate. This gate needs to have 2 outputs, and we'll say that the first one is open by default, so a gate 2, 1. So I'm taking the texture, the matrix coming out of JIT.movie, and passing it into the right inlet of this gate, the output of the gate to the JIT-GL slab, the first output, the second output. Then we're actually going to have a second GL slab and a second gate. So coming from the GL slab goes into the second gate. Going from this gate, so this is if we bypassed it, this gate we would change the position of the gate from 1 to 2. Right? So right now it's going to go through the gate, it's going to come out this outlet and into the slab. If we want to bypass it, we'll have it go around the slab and go directly to this next gate. Whoops, wrong place on that side of the gate. So see how it goes around the slab, bypassing it, right? Then coming out of this gate, it's going to, if it comes out the first outlet, it's going to go into the slab. If we want to bypass it, it's going to bypass the slab and go directly to the video plane. If we don't bypass it, we need it to go into the slab, but then have the output of the slab go into the video plane, like that. This makes sense? So all we've done is we've taken, let me get rid of this, we now don't need this original connection. All we've done is we've taken the video, we have it go into this gate, then out of the gate into the slab, out of the slab into the next gate, out of the gate into the slab, out of the slab into the GL video plane. And at each gate we have the ability to bypass the corresponding slab. So if they were both bypassed, it would go directly from the movie player to the video plane, bypassing both of the slabs and applying no effects. Which we want to have that ability because you might not want to use an effect. You might just want to play your video without any effects on it. All right, so we need to be able to control these gates, and we do that with the routing. So we need to route the inputs correctly. So let me refresh my memory on what we did over here. So I'm looking at this is our channel, four channel mixer file that we did in half of the class today. I'm going to look at the actual file that's inside this B patcher, which was called movie vowels. Make sure you watch the first half of the class video if you weren't in class today or whatever, because we added a bunch of stuff to this, as you can see, all these sliders and all these messages. So these messages are going to be what's important. So bypass here, fx1 bypass. So #1, that will get replaced by the patcher argument. So that's going to be called CHA underscore then fx1 dash bypass. So that would be for the first one, and fx2 bypass would be for the second one. So let's start with that. Those bypasses, those are going to be what controls the gates. So let me just check my notes again. Yeah, so bypass is the first thing on my route over here. That's what I thought. All right, so now I could just add more and more items to this route. We could make a super long route object, but it gets a little bit messy, and there's no reason why you just can't use more than one route. So that's what I'm going to do. Route #1, because again this has patcher arguments, underscore, what was it, fx1 dash bypass. Right, that's what we said? Yes. Then we're going to have those effects. Then we have the shader file is the next thing, which is #1 underscore fx1 dash file, I believe. Let me make sure. File, yeah, right there. So we have fx1 bypass, hash1 fx underscore fx1 file, and then we have the parameters for the effect. So that's going to be hash1 underscore fx1 dash 1 through hash1 underscore fx1 dash 5. So let me just copy this, paste it, and change that to a 2, and paste it, and change that to a 3, paste it, change that to a 4, paste it, and a 5. So that's going to route all of those sliders and the bypass and all that for the thing. Let me take a look at my notes again real quick. Yeah, that's all I was doing. Yep. So now we need to make the messages for these effects, right? Now in the other patch, you can see we have these messages pre-made. We call it, the only thing that gets substituted in is this patcher argument. So we have CHA, but we have an FX1-1$1, right? But if we were to send that to the slab wouldn't know what the heck FX1-1 means, right? It only knows what the parameters are for the shader that has been loaded. And that shader will change because we don't want to only use one effect, and we don't want to have one slab per every effect we might use, right? So we want to be able to change, and that's why we have this fx1-file, so that we can change the shader in this slab. But as soon as you change the shader in the slab, all of the parameters are going to be different because every shader has its own parameters. So we need to make a system that will automatically, dynamically generate the messages we need to control this slab based on the shader that gets loaded. The first thing we need to do is patch in our bypass. So the first output on this, this is the FX1 for the first bank of effects. The first one that we're routing for is hash1 underscore fx1 dash bypass, right? So to bypass this, we're going to change this gate position from 1 to 2. We can use a toggle. So coming into this, we'll make a 0 or a 1. How would you make a 0 or a 1 into a 1 or a 2? Really easily, add 1. So we're adding 1 to this, and then we can pass that into the gate position here, or gate inlet. So now when this is bypassed, it will go out 2. This is now open, and that one is closed. If it's not bypassed, it will go out 1, and this one's open, and the bypass route is closed. Okay, so that's the first thing. Now we need to generate those dynamic messages, like I said. So to do that, we're going to take the file coming into the slab. So we got this file here. This is going to give us a file name on the other end, and we can, let me check my notes. What was it that I do? Yeah, file $1. Sorry, this is a message, not an object. File $1. And then as soon as it loads that shader, we want to actually get the parameter list for that shader that it just loaded. So we're going to do a comma to say that now do this as a separate event, separate message, and get param list. So file $1 get param list. This should be from the hash1 underscore fx1 dash file name output. All right. Dash file. I guess there's no name in it. Let me double check if that's true. That's file name, fx1 file. Yeah, that's right. Okay, great. All right, so that's going to, and then pass that into the slab. So that's first going to load the shader, then it's going to pull for the param list. That param list will come out the dump outlet of this slab, at which point we're going to route that trigger list set and ZL slice it. Okay, that makes sense. So we're going to route this. Route param list. This is coming out of the slab. It goes to this route param list. I'm going to put it up here so we have some room. And now, so then all the parameters will come after that. And then we're going to trigger list. No, we're not. We're going to, let's just build it. Let's slice it first. All right, so we're going to assume that the effects have no more than 5 parameters. ZL.slice 5. If they have more than 5 parameters, we simply won't be able to control those parameters with the sliders we have because we only have 5 sliders. So ZL slice 5. Then we're going to have those go, we're going to unpack that list. That should have 5 elements now. Unpack. And there are going to be 5 symbols. So I'm just going to say symbol, 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 symbol. So now I have an unpack with 5 S's. I got to plug in my laptop or it's going to die. Okay, so we unpack the 5 symbols. Now we're going to use those to dynamically create the message, and we do that by going into an append $1. So a new object, append, and because $sign is a special character, it's not going to want you to use it in this append as an argument for this append message, but we can get around that error by using an escape character, which is a /. All right, cool. Now we're going to test this out. So I'm going to say file td.kaledo.jxs, comma, get param list. There we go. And that didn't work with that / for some reason. Oh, it's because it's supposed to be a backslash, not a /. Sorry, this backslash needs to be a, and this / needs to be a backslash. That's the escape character. So td kaleido, file td-kaleido.jxs, and then get param list gives me in a param list messages. This is scale $1. That's the first parameter. So I just need to reproduce that a couple more times. This is just for testing this message here. I'll put it over here. All right. But that's working now. So actually, I'm going to leave that alone. I don't need this anymore. And I need 5 of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I need 5 of these appends. 2, 3, 4, 5. Unpack into each of these appends. And then patch into the right inlet of each of these messages. This is what's going to create those messages based on the shader parameters. So now if I'm trying this again, boom. This is scale, origin, offset, sorry, scale, offset, origin, divisions, and texture 0. All right, so that's the first half of that. The second half of that would be taking this value that's coming out of this part of the route and patching it into each of these messages. Let's move these over a bit so that we have some room and that our lines won't get too crazy. 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, how are we getting the messages into this route? Well, we could take it directly from the inlet. We could also take it from the last output of the previous route, because if it doesn't match any of those routings, we can then say, well, does it match any of these routings? We can also now, when we do the second bank of effects, we can just duplicate all this stuff, move it over, and then pass this output to the next one, right? Okay, so there's our various messages that have been created. They've been now patched to this route so that as the data comes in each of these lines, it will go through these messages and then go into the slab, except for before it goes into the slab, we need to put the word param on it. So we could do it either before or after the message. I did it after, so I'm going to do it in my notes, so I'm going to do it after here as well. So now we appended $1, but we're going to prepend the word param on each of these. And this, actually, we can pass all of these through the same prepend param. Just realizing that now, which will make this easier. And then from that prepend param into the GL slab. That way, any one of these will get the word param before it, which slab needs to know that it's a parameter. All right, so I'm going to go like this to hopefully make that a little bit clearer. All right, so that's the first bank of effects. Now we got to do the second bank. Let me check my notes, make sure there wasn't something I forgot. That looks right. Pre-prem param into the slab from the app. That's right. Okay, cool. So now we just need to do the second bank of effects. And that's why I built this one completely first before starting the second one, because now we can just copy all of this stuff and duplicate it. So I'm going to grab all of this, including the slab and the gate. We're probably just going to replace this gate and slab because it'll be easier than having to repatch everything. I don't need this. That was just for testing. And I'm going to duplicate this stuff. Boom. And let's see, might as well bring it down here. Bring it down here. And now this slab and gate, we're probably going to replace these, but let's just drag them down here for now, next to this slab and gate, because ultimately it's going to be coming from the same place and going to the same place. All right, so let's just move this over to this new gate. Anything that was attached to the old gate, move it to the new gate, like that. And then this is still connected to that. This, anything coming from this slab, needs to now come from this slab. That's coming on the output of that slab, as you can see, the output, right? This now is the other outlet of that gate needs to go back to the video plane without going through any slabs, because that's our bypass. Let's try just a regular route, a line. There we go. If I move this over, it might be a little more clear. All right, so now these are dead. There we go. Okay, so that's for the second effects route. Now where is this going? That's right, that's where it should go. Is there a better way to route it? Yes, like that. Okay. Almost done. Now we just need to change all the FX1s to FX2s. All right. I think that'll do it. Save. Now we can close this. Now we can close that. Now we can change these from movie player GLs to movie effects player GLs. As soon as I figure out how to unlock my patcher. There we go. Movie effects player GL. And keep the same patcher arguments in there. Typed a D. Effects. There we go. What did I type wrong? Movie player effects. Oops. Movie effects player. GL. There we go. Okay. Now, let's take a look. Go back to the first screen on this. Let's see how we did. B-ball. Does it play? Of course not. Layer 1. Oh, wait. I turned off my Metro. There we go. Ah, it plays. Yay. Good. Okay. So I got B-ball. I believe I have another thing underneath it. Let me just turn these off. Pull these out. So yeah, there we go. That's fading. In my shader control, I have to actually load something first. If I load kaleidoscope, boom, I get a kaleidoscope effect. And if I now look at my third page, oh right, we never sent those. I need to send, we never sent to these messages. That's one thing we forgot to do. But this would be like divisions would be here. Changing this changes that parameter, as you can see. But that scale isn't enough for this to get anything, right? So that's what these multipliers were for. So say I wanted a divisions of up to 10, right? I could say, I guess that wasn't divisions. But anyway, I can change the scale of that slider. And then once we add that, the send for the param list back to this, we'll know what that parameter is called. So let's do that. And let me check actually real quick that our second bank of effects is working too. I'm going to do something simple like cart to pull. Oh no. The bypass works on the first channel, but on the second channel, it's not working. Great. All right, I'll look at that real quick. Let's open that up. Open that back up. Effects player GL, movie effects player GL. Movie effects player GL. All right, so the first thing we need to do, the param list, we want to send that to channel, yeah. So we want to send this to send hash one, what was it? Underscore param list one. Hash one underscore param list one, all one word. And then we'll have the same thing with the param list 2 for the second one down here. Alright, so the param list will come out of this, route param list, then go to the send param list 1. So that should then populate that list of parameters in the bpatcher. Same thing here. Okay, so that's the first thing. The second thing is why the heck did that stop working? Why did that not work on this gate? Oh, I can see it right now. Nothing is getting to this slab because the route hasn't been hooked up to anything. So yeah, there we go. This route needs to get passed on over here. Just trying to find a good way to route this cable. There is none. All right. Anyway, that should work. Save that. Close it. Clear your million errors. Go back. And let's try this one more time. I'm loading b-ball. I got stuff. If I go to the second thing, I can make this be Kaleido, and it works. I can make this now be cart to pull, and it works. And if I go to my parameter list, I see actual parameters. With Kaleido, for example, if I wanted to work on the divisions, that's the 1, 2, 3, 4th out of fifth slider. So let me turn off the cart to pull. So I'm going to bypass it, and now I'm just seeing kaleidoscope. And say I wanted the divisions, right? So my choices are 1 to -1, which isn't going to give me any divisions, right? So that's why I'm going to go over here and set a multiplier for divisions of I don't know, 10. So I can have 10 divisions. Now I can say, oh, I want 10 divisions, or I want -10 divisions. And it looks like in this shader, the floating point values are like how much rotation around the center point between those divisions. But essentially, you only want whole numbers on this. So like for this particular shader, I'd probably go down here and say, okay, I want 5 divisions. Or I want, actually 6 is going to look better. Or 9. I guess even numbers look better. All right, so that's about it. The only other thing I would do to this, but I don't want to spend the time with you guys on this video, is to go in and assign var names, scripting names on all of these values so that you can put them as part of your pattern storage and actually store them. I'll just show you how to do a few of them. I'm not going to do them all. So back in your movie vals, everything we've added that is a number that might change. And actually, you probably wouldn't need to do the sliders, probably just the numbers that they're attached to. But probably also the multipliers. All of these. and all of these values. I would say, oh, and the bypasses, these, and the which shader you're using. All of those you would want to give scripting names to. I don't think we can do them all at once. Pretty sure we can't. No, we have to do them one at a time, but I just wanted to show you which objects. So let me do a few of these. So I could say, for example, bypass. I could say I want to give this a scripting name, and this would be a scripting name #1, right? So that it's unique for this instance. #1 underscore fx1 dash bypass. And this one would be, sorry, actually I'm not going to do the sliders. I'm just going to do, no, let's do the sliders. Sliders and var name, script name, this would be #1 underscore fx1 dash 1. Right, the last one would be #1 underscore fx1 dash 5. This, I don't know, what would we call it? Let's call it #1 underscore fx1 dash molt. And I would do that for all of those. This could be where is that? Oh, there it is, way down here. #1 underscore fx1 dash shader. Okay. You also probably are going to want to have in this patch an AutoPatter if you don't already. We do. We have an AutoPatter #1 control valves. All right, so if you save this in your patter storage over here, client window, you should see those that I've added. Right? I didn't add all of them, but but anyway, now those are you're able to store queues on those parameters. All right, that's all I wanted to show you guys. Let me know if you have any trouble with this patch. You are going to have to turn this in along with your final to me on Wednesday. So please have all of this working, everything that we did today. Let me know if you want some help. Let me know if you want some help on your final. I have time between now and Wednesday that I can meet with you and help you out. All right, good luck. See ya.